Go goes green. Welcome to Mark and Pete Live. That's our theme for today. I'm Clergyman Pete. With me is Businessman Mark. As always, what have you got for us today, Mark? What is this all about, this thing about Lego? What's
Yes,
going on?
well, Lego, what an important invention that is.
Yeah.
Anyone who has been a child, were you a child, Clergyman Pete? I guess you were
Well,
one day.
I don't think I was
Once upon a
actually.
time.
Came out as an adult. Yeah.
It used to be something that fascinated me. The idea that you could create something out of simple little blocks of plastic. But of course, Lego has adapted over time. I know that when I used it as a child, they were fairly basic, but they've grown as a company. And although they got into trouble from a business perspective not that long ago, they've turned their fortunes around. Now, I know that one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that there is this trend as organizations think about being eco and green and friendly, they are thinking about changing the way they actually manufacture these things. However, we will talk about that, but I want to really talk about what the essence of Lego is, and I'll give you a little bit of a personal view on this matter, and this is around destructive parents. Now, Lego is a toy with many enticing tricks that can build children's minds with clever clicks. It will transfix as they affix and intelligently intermix, unless you're the unpopular parent who unpicks the bricks.
Yes, that's me.
I hated that. I remember, folks, a time when my imagination ran wild and I built this amazing castle. Yes, I know, I feel like I'm still living in it. With turrets and drawbridges. And I sort of put it proudly in the living room floor. And one day my parents came along and picked the lot and said, "It's time for bed." And I thought, oh no. I've got to do it all again.
Well,
So,
it obviously still rankles. I can see
it still
with you,
wrangles
that
with me.
pain. Yeah, pain, the loss, sense of loss. Yeah.
Well, I know that parents didn't like the mess and probably didn't like the fact that they used to stick their foot on them and
Very painful.
yelp.
The most painful thing known to man, that is. Yes, stepping on a Lego brick. Oh.
Quite, yes. However, Lego, of course, as an organization, was originally founded in a workshop by Ole Kirk Christiansen. Now, he was a carpenter in Billund, Denmark. But the irony is that he used to build a lot of his toys out of wood.
Mhm.
Now, that might seem like an eco-friendly thing to do, but of course, over time, he developed Lego. And these interconnecting blocks, which incidentally, there were many other building blocks on the market at the time,
Sure.
but he created this where they actually, sort of with injection molding machines, created these little bricks that we now know as Legos. But of course, they're made out of plastic, and certainly in recent times. And I've noticed in the news that now they are considering recycling materials, such as from drinks bottles. Now, I don't know whether this is a good idea or not, and I wanted your view on this. Is it just a fad? They're just latching on to the idea that, hey, we don't want to produce plastic toys anymore. We want to have recyclable things. But will they be as good? That's what I want to know.
Well, a crucial thing would be, are they as good? And Lego has its great enthusiasts. So if they don't get them, not just as good, but exactly the same, there's going to be hell to pay from their big fans, I'm sure. But this we have an article on it here. This is taken. Let me just scroll up on the screen if you're watching the video version. This is taken from BBC News. Lego plans to sell bricks from recycled bottles within 2 years, within 2 years' time. The toy giant Lego, it says, is aiming to put bricks made from recycled drinks bottles on the shelf within 2 years. Lego makes apparently 3,500 different bricks and shakes, but faces the challenge of coming up with a sustainable product that can last years and decades even. Yeah, I mean, I guess you kept your toys from when you were a child.
Absolutely, yes. And
you probably had some of the original wooden ones as well, didn't you, with your age?
Well, I've got the ones made out of little flint from the cave. But yes, we're that old.
Interestingly, the Tim Brooks, who is the a product manager, I guess I don't have his title here, but he said it's too soon to say how many of its bricks will contain recycled material. So it's not quite the commitment that you think. It's not that all the bricks. They will start making these bricks. So
Yes. But how are they going to mix
maybe
them? I mean, does that mean you're going to end up with? Because some people have polypropylene, and there will be then this mix of recyclable ones. So how are
well,
they going
he
to
says,
integrate?
he's actually Mr. Brooks. I've scrolled up now. I've seen it. He's actually the vice president of Lego.
Yeah,
No,
that's very
sorry, vice
close.
president of sustainability at Lego.
Oh,
So
well, there you
yeah,
go. He is a
I've
sustainable person.
I just promoted him and then demoted him in one sentence. But he said that the two types of blocks, the sustainable and
Yes.
the traditional ones, should fit together and be interchangeable like any Lego product. So my suspicion is that there's going to be a special set for those who are enthusiastic about recycling and being green and wanting to get their carbon footprint down. That's my suspicion. And this adds to my suspicion that this is simply a fad.
Yes.
I think it's moving with the time. You notice they moved with the times before.
Of
They
course.
started producing these plastic blocks, which are interchangeable. And then they would bring out special kits for all the latest movies. I mean, the Star Wars one is well known with the that you can make a Lego version of the whole Death Star if you want to.
Yes.
But they then moved on, of course, to make video games and movies out of their characters, which are then made out of bricks. So they then sell more bricks. And so I think this is just another example of them. I suppose, in a way, cynically, because it's using the idea of we want to be green, we want to recycle and not waste in order to sell more plastic bricks. So you could say it is cynical, but on the other hand, you could equally argue, and I'd go with this one, that they're giving the people what they want. I mean, many people do want to see recyclable plastic if they're going to use plastic.
Well, they do, but I was going to then highlight another point. I have a couple of points where I want to take umbrage. First of all, that when I was a child, they conjured the first minifigures in 1978.
Well,
And unfortunately, at that point, I was outgrowing such a type of toy. And so the question there is, does that mean that they're going to not just change their bricks, but they're also going to change the figurines? Because that's key, because those little figurines really bring your imagination to life. And that was the big issue that I had when I was making castles and cars
it could,
and things.
The bricks of Lego have to be really sturdy, and they have to have a very smooth surface, and they have to be able to slide on and off each other. It remains to be seen whether they can produce that same quality of plastic using the recycled bottles. So I have my doubts that it will ever happen.
Well, indeed. And here's another thought. Why, if their grand vision that they have to sort of obviously venture into other areas, why can't they create a recyclable but grand constructed house? I mean, the housing crisis is clearly an issue. You could have a large Lego estate. Now, I know that you might say that, well, there's Legoland.
There's Legoland, but also a lot of modern housing.
Exactly.
It looks a bit like it's made out of Lego anyway.
Indeed.
But yes, it's another argument would be, taking it away from Lego. Well, should we have all houses made out of recyclable products?
Well, this is it.
Bricks aren't that recyclable. Maybe you should have them, made out of wattle and daub and a thatched roof.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that's slightly tongue in cheek. But what I'm saying is, my point is, not a negative one. It's just to say, in order to be recyclable, really, you're going back to the wisdom of ages past, when we lived in a way that was more in tune with our environment. So, in that way, in doing this, at least you could argue that Lego is making some sort of a step in the right direction. But it's just as likely that this is fitting in with a current fad and enthusiasm. And if the enthusiasm goes away, so will the bricks.
Well, now here's one final thought for you. Now, I do know that the firm emits about 1.2 million tons of carbon per year.
Sure.
Now, that's a lot. So I was wondering, maybe if they created a little Greta Thunberg Lego figure.
Greta Thunberg figure. Right, I get
and
one.
sold it with their recyclable bricks.
Yep.
Now, there's a toy. There's a toy.
Well, yes. Let's leave the viewers and listeners with that thought. We're of course big fans of Greta Thunberg here on Mark and Beat, so that would be one that we'd certainly have and maybe include in the show. But what do you think, gentle listeners? Let us know in the comment sections below. Remember, you can also simply go to markandpete.com and put a comment there and listen to the audio version if that's easier for you at the same time. But from us here in the Mark and Pete Grand Studios, it's goodbye for now. Catch you next time.